this over into my bag, thanks. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai Jaya, Gauranitai Jaya, Gauranitai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivajagacharya Asasata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivajagacharya Asasata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki. Anantakoti Vaishnavinda Ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Prem Sekaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Yamuna Devi Ki Ganga Devi Ki Bhakti Devi Ki Tulsi Devi Ki Vrindavan Dham Ki Mayapur Dham Ki Sankirtan Yoga Ki, the divine appearance day of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Ki, Gaur Premanandi, all glories, the assembled devotees, all glories, the assembled devotees, all glories, the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnu. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Gena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Okay, so Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, right in the very beginning, glorifies Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityanando Sahodita Godayaye Pushpavanto Chitro Shando Tamo Nuda. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, who are like the sun and moon. They have arisen simultaneously on the horizon of Goda to dissipate the darkness of ignorance, and thus wonderfully bestow benediction upon all. May that Lord, who is known as the son of Srimati Sachi Devi, be transcendentally situated in the innermost chambers of your heart. Resplendent with the radiance of molten gold, he has appeared in the age of Kali by his causeless mercy to bestow what no incarnation ever offered before, the most sublime and radiant spiritual knowledge of the mellow taste of his service. Okay, so the loving affairs of Sri Radha and Krishna are transcendental manifestations of the Lord's internal pleasure-giving potency. Although Radha and Krishna are one in their identity, they separated themselves eternally. Now these two transcendental identities have again united in the form of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. I bow down to him who has manifested himself with the sentiment and complexion of Srimati Radharani, although he is Krishna himself. And so we see that Lord Krishna, he came to this world and engaged in his transcendental loving pastimes in Vrindavan. And then at his will, he disappeared, went back to Goloka Vrindavan, but he thought for a long time, I have not bestowed unalloyed loving service to me upon the inhabitants of the world. Without such loving attachment, the existence of the material world is useless. So completely useless without that service. And he said, everywhere in the world, so we see all different religions, people worship me according to scriptural injunctions. But simply by following such regulative principles, one cannot attain the loving sentiments of the devotees in Vrajabhumi. So, knowing my opulences, the whole world looks upon me with awe and veneration. But devotion made feeble by such reverence does not attract me. Of course, for those of us who are in the neophyte stage, we certainly need to have this awe and veneration, and also this strict adherence to scriptural injunctions. But still, Lord Krishna wants everyone to experience the love of the Vrajavasis, this spontaneous love, because he said, by following, well, Prabhupada says, This is purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. A little bit of it. By following scriptural injunctions, one may enhance his appreciation for the glories of the Lord, but there is no chance for one to enter personal dealings with him. Giving too much attention to understanding the exalted glories of the Lord reduces the chance of one's entering personal loving affairs with the Lord. To teach the principles of such loving dealings, the Lord decided to appear as Lord Chaitanya. So, about 50 years ago, devotees, they still do, but not as much, used to write songs for the children. And we can see, in just like a little song, we can hear so much of the philosophy and pastimes of the Lord. So starting with the appearance of Lord Chaitanya, and anyone who knows, all the parents of children know these songs, so please sing along with me. All right. When Lord Chaitanya was a boy, his mother called him Nimai. Lying on his bed, he turned upside down. In his lotus footprints a thunderbolt and disc, conch shell, club, and fish could be found. Mother Sachi saw them on the ground. Then Jagannath Mishra called the astrologer, who said, on the body of the child are the marks of a great personality. 5 marks are large and 5 are fine. 7 red, 6 rays, 3 are small, 3 are broad, and 3 are very grave. These 32 marks on the palms and soles are the symptoms of Lord Narayana. Your boy will protect and maintain the world, so he shall be called Vishwambara. He shall be called Vishwambara. Okay, so Vishwambara, also his mother called him Nimai because of being born under the neem tree. He had an elder brother, Vishvarupa. Now, Vishvarupa, he was the emblem of Brahminical culture, Brahminical qualities, very saintly. And every day he used to go to the home of Advaita Acharya. We know Advaita Acharya, he called for the Lord with loud calls and with offering of Ganges water and tulsi leaves. Due to his ardent prayers, he was praying for the Lord to come. So Vishvarupa, he used to give class, Srimad Bhagavatam class every day, and lead kirtan at the home of Advaita Acharya. And then little Nimai, Mother Sachi, would send him, go and bring your brother for lunch. So he would go and walk in and, with practically no clothes on, just like little something around his waist, and he would gently go in. Although he was a very wayward child, like Lord Krishna, still in front of his brother, he was much more subdued and well-behaved and gentle-mannered. And he would just go and pull on his brother's dhoti and say, Mother said, come to eat. And everyone would just stare at them, not knowing this is the personality that Advaita Acharya had prayed for. And they would just watch him, both of them, go back for lunch. Now, at one particular time, the parents, Sachimata and Jagannath Mishra, they said, our son, Vishvarup, now he's of marriageable age, and we should find a nice Brahmin wife for him. And so when he heard them speak like this, he said, now I will go to the forest. He resolved, and within a few days he left home without discussion, because, you know, if there's discussion, his parents will try to convince him to stay, and Mother Sachi will cry and his, you know, pull on his heart strings. So he just left home. So when he did, everyone was thrown into deep despair, and including Nimai, because without his wonderful association, they just felt as if a thunderbolt had hit them on the head. And Mother Sachi and Jagannath Mishra were lost in intense grief and lamenting and just calling out his name, Vishvarupa, Vishvarupa. But still, so now Nimai, he fell unconscious that his brother had left home. And now he could no longer go and fetch him for lunch. And seeing that his parents were in so much distress because of this, he tried to pacify them. He became well-behaved, and he stopped going out to play and creating mischief everywhere, and engaged primarily in studying. And he would, you know, always on the way home from school, he would confound the brahmanas with different riddles, you know, that they couldn't answer. And he would explain different words. And Mother Sachi, she's like, I don't know what he's talking about, but it's so charming, like just how much he just loved books. He became very grave. So when Jagannath Mishra saw that he's spending his days studying Srimad Bhagavatam and the scriptures, he was not very happy. Mother Sachi was very happy, thinking, wow, this is so wonderful, and so, you know, just to hear him speak and to see him always studying. But Jagannath Mishra thought, this is what happened to my son, Vishvarupa. He was always studying. And look what happened to him. He came to realize the transient nature of this world and household life, and he left. And I don't want to lose Nimai. So he told Mother Sachi, I'm going to stop his studies so that he's not going to go to school anymore, and he's not going to, I'm going to take away his books. And she's like, what? How can you do that? And so she said, you know, when he grows up, he's gonna get married, and he's gonna have to have a job, and of course he's a Brahmin, so he'll be a teacher. And so how can you prevent him from this? How will he maintain himself if he has no education? So it's a very common argument that many parents give. And Jagannath Mishra said, what are you speaking? Like, don't you know you are the wife of a Brahmin, and you are the mother of a Brahmin, and the son and the daughter of a Brahmin, Nilambara Chakravarti, and you're speaking like this as if you don't realize that the Lord maintains all living entities, and especially for a devotee of the Lord, he doesn't have to worry about getting an education. And she's like, well, whatever. So he called Nimai, said, so Nimai, I don't want you. He said, I don't want you to study anymore. Don't worry, whatever you need, like you just stay here and for your whole life, and after you grow up and get married, you still stay here in our house, and we will provide everything you need. And so, so now he told him that, and so Nimai totally accepted it, and it was very abrupt, you know, not like leading up to it, abrupt. So as soon as Jagannath Mishra he left home, then right away Nimai's like, okay, I'm not allowed to study. And so he just went to his different antics, and he began like smashing things, and with his reckless confidence, and he told his friends, okay, tonight when your parents go to sleep, we're all gonna meet, okay? So bring blankets with you. And they pretended to be bulls. So there would be 2 boys under a blanket. And they just started running through everyone's gardens and just trampling on the gardens and smashing their fruits and vegetables and flowers. And then in the morning, they thought, oh, what happened? It looks like a bull has gotten loose. And anyway, it's providence. It just must be our karma. Like, he knocked down banana trees and all of this. And so they were saying, this is the Lord's doing. Nothing happens without his sanction. And then he would all at once, okay, now everybody, those in India, the locks are bolts. And you lock from the outside and from the inside, so that when you go out, you lock it from the outside. When you're in, you can lock it from the inside. So the boys ran and locked all the doors from the outside. And so nobody could get out of their houses. And we know they have the bathrooms outside of the house, right? They don't have them in the house, in the villages like this. And so after a while, when they had to use the bathroom, they started calling out the windows to their neighbors, please come and unlock my door. And they're like, I can't, my door's locked too. And Nimai and his friends would just laugh at them, that they were in such a predicament. So, but Jagannath Mishra never chastised him, because he thought at least he's obeying and not studying his books all the time. And so one time, Jagannath Mishra had been away from home, and some of Nimai's playmates, they came running to the home, to Mother Sachi's door, saying, Mother Sachi, come quickly. Nimai is turning all black, like Shama Sundar. So she ran with the children to a pile of broken pots, how they cook with clay pots, and they're covered in soot, and then they just throw them in a compost pile. And it was a big pile of discarded pots. And so Nimai, he had climbed on top of those pots, and because some of his golden complexion and the black soot of the pots, he looked very much like Sham Sundar, but kind of like emerald color, because gold, right, yellow, and this dark color, and he looked like that. He had soot all over his face, and so he shone like thousands of suns, eradicating the lusterless material planets. And his cheeks were bright red. And so Mother Sachi went and said, come down, get down from there immediately. You're old enough to know better. And he looked like a young lion, resting peacefully in the warm sunshine. He sat in a thoughtful mood, black smudges all over his long arms and covering the reddish tinge of his soft palms and lotus feet. His bright red lips smiled merrily at Mother Sachi from a face darkened by black soot. He sat with one hand resting on the lip of a pot, as if to reach in for a handful of butter. Finally, the time had come when Nimai decided to seek revenge for being forbidden to read. So then Nimai, he started to refute the restrictions. He said, "My dear mother, how can I be expected to have any knowledge when I am forbidden to read? All places are the same to me. I have no knowledge of right and wrong. As far as I know, I am perfectly proper sitting here." And Sachi Mat is like, whoa, he is like kind of bewildering, like how he talks like this. And he said, besides that, anything that comes in contact with me cannot be impure, so it's not contaminated. And she's like, he said, "I never stay in an unclean place. Everywhere I sit is full of holiness. All the places of holy pilgrimage, the sacred Ganges herself, all are present here. It is only through your mind that you see me as being clean or unclean. Just consider, can there be any sin in the Creator?" And she said, "What? How can you speak like that?" And he said, "Even if something happens to be impure according to the opinion of men or the injunctions of the Vedas, can such impurity remain when touched by me? And these pots, besides that, what were these pots used for? These pots were used for cooking for Lord Vishnu and for the deity. So certainly everything used in the service of the Lord is purifying, not contaminating. And so they're not dirty anyway." So now Mother Sachi and her friends, they were like, wow, they were laughing, thinking like he's so charming and so just he loves like making riddles and jokes. And so Nimai said, "I will never come down until you allow me to read." And the neighbors, they all had gathered around, and they took sides with Nimai, and they told Sachi Devi, "Surely your son is right to protest this restriction. Like us, our children, they don't want to read, and we make them read because you want him to grow up to be a fool and not know how to read and write. And what can be the virtue of parents who stop the studies of such a boy?" And so they turned to Nimai out of sympathy, though, from Mother Sachi, and told him, "You should come down now because your mother is asking you." And so he said, "Okay." So he wouldn't come down. He said, "I'm not coming." So she climbed up, grabbed his hand, and pulled him down, and then made him, scolded him all the way home and said, "You better get cleaned up right away." She bathed him just in time for Jagannath Mishra to arrive home. But at that time, the neighbors had followed them home and said, "Jagannath Mishra, like, your son is so wise for his age. And, if he doesn't, you don't allow him to read and study, he just runs around with his friends creating havoc. And so you should allow him. And this isn't right that you're prohibiting." So because of this, he said, all right. And he allowed him to start reading again. Still, that doesn't mean Nimai gave up. He only had given up his waywardness just to placate his parents after they lost their son to the sannyas order. Now, every day after school, school ends, just like here ends early, 1:30, and it would end around noontime. And all, lots of people, because Navadvip was a big center of learning, many Brahmins there, and scholars and all. And so all the children would all go down to the Ganges to bathe, and so would so many other people be there bathing. But Nimai, he would just start harassing everyone. Like if the in the water, the Brahmins used to go in and up to their neck and chant the Gayatri mantra noontime, and he would go in and go underwater and pull their legs, pull them under right in the middle of Gayatri, and then he would others would be chanting. He would jump up really quickly onto their back and all the way onto their shoulders, and then jump in the water, and he'd say, "Just worship me, I am Maheshvara." This many were also worshiping Narayan. And he would, like when they're in, you've seen in India how they will just wash their cloths, their dhoti, and the ladies, their saris, and just lay them out in the sand because it's so hot. They'll dry in no time. So they lay out their clothing and go bathe, and he would come with his muddy feet and walk all over their cloth. So they had to again wash their cloth. And they had little, puja. While they were there, they would be engaging in puja. Some of them even had Sheilas there. He would take their paraphernalia themselves. He would offer the artik while they're in the water and just like ruin everything. And then he would steal. They had their Bhagavad Gita. He would take their Bhagavad Gita and hide it from them, and he would just engage in any way. Oh, he would spit water on them after they come out of the water and they're all clean and everything. He would spit water right on them. He would fill his mouth. So they thought, we need to go and complain to Jagannath Mishra. And so they went and they told Jagannath Mishra all about this. And he's like, what? Oh, that's terrible. I'm so sorry. I'm going to punish him. So he would take a stick and he'd go down to the Ganges. And then one of Nimai's friends saw him coming. He said, Nimai, your father's coming, and he looks really mad, and he has a stick in his hand. So Nimai told everyone, when he comes, tell him I didn't come today to the Ganges. I never came here. And then Nimai went home the other way, but miraculously he was all dry. His hair was dry. He had ink, because they use, ink wells, and he had ink spots all over his body, like a kadamba flower besieged by bumblebees. Kadamba flower. So he would go home, and Mother Sachi said, oh, those men came, and he goes, I didn't go to the Ganges today. And he was all dry and everything, and he had ink all over him, and what? You didn't go? No, I didn't go to the Ganges. And then Jagannath Mishra, sure enough, he went there, and they said, oh, he never came today. Nimai didn't come. And now he's like really confused. And then he goes back, and Nimai's like, oh, why are they telling lies about me? I never even went there. Well, if they want to tell lies, I'll give them a good reason. You know how sometimes mothers say, the child's crying. Do you want something to cry about? I'll give you something to cry about. So he said, I'll give them something to complain about. And they go, no. And he goes, all right, mother, give me oil, right? They do massage before in the water. I'm going now to the Ganges. And just as all those men left, then the girls came, the young girls, and they told Mother Sachi, we go every day and we worship Lord Shiva, so that they can get a good husband. But Nimai, he would go and spoil their puja. He would take they have a garland, and some kind of deity. They maybe would make a deity or linga, and he took the garland and he put it on him. He took the fruits and he ate the fruits, and they're like, Nimai, that is not for you. That's for Durga Devi and Lord Shiva. And he said, listen, they are my devotees. They all worship me. So you don't have to worship them. What kind of benediction can they give you? I will give you benedictions. Just give me everything. And they go, you're so arrogant and so proud. How can you say that? He goes, yes, even Mother Ganga is my devotee. And then he would, he'd bless them. He said, if you give me all your offerings, because some of the girls would run away. They're like, I'm going to tell your mother, because I don't care. Like he used to say, my parents are old. They can't do anything to me. Don't worry. And so then he would say, if you give me all the offerings, I bless you, that you will have a very nice husband who's rich and handsome and learned, and he'll give you nice children. But if you don't give me the offering, then I curse you, that you're going to have old, grumpy husband who already has 4 wives. And so when they told Mother Sachi this, they're saying, do you really think he can do that? Can he really curse us like that? She said, no, he's just playing jokes on you, but I'm going to tie him up when he comes home. And they're like, no, please don't. Like just like the gopis when Krishna steals their butter, you know, they complain to Mother Yashoda, but actually that's what they're making butter for, hoping Krishna's going to come and take their butter. So they would not want him. They go, no, don't punish him, don't tie him up like that. It's okay, because really they were so much charmed by him. All right, so now what happens is, it's till 7:30 today, I imagine, right? Okay, so now later on, we saw this is Adi Leela, and we saw the drama on Sunday of the Majja Leela, and then the children today are doing the Ansha Leela. Very surprising drama, because it's Krishna Leela, because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was absorbed in Krishna Leela. And so we're going to see that. So now it's kind of the Adi Leela. But later on, when Jagannath Mishra, he had a dream, and he had a dream that Nimai actually was taking sannyas, and he was feeling like, oh, this is terrible that this would happen. He said, I never want this to happen at all. I want him to stay forever. And he told his wife that in this dream, Nimai shaved off his hair and put on the saffron cloth of a sannyasi. His appearance was so wonderful, no words can describe it. In those very clothes, head shaved, he danced, laughed, cried, calling constantly and piteously on the holy name of Sri Krishna. Sri Advaita Acharya and other great devotees of the Lord chanted the Nam Kirtan, dancing in a circle around Nimai. Then in the midst of this kirtan, Nimai sat upon the couch of Sri Vishnu Ananta, sometimes placing his feet on the heads of the different devotees. 4-faced, 5-faced, even 1,000-faced demigods and celestial beings sang, Jai Gaurachandra, Jai Vishvambara, all glories to the darling of Sachi Devi. Chanting his name over and over, some fainted, some swooned, and all were overcome by great waves of unspeakable joy. Seeing all this made me speechless. Then I saw him again chanting the holy name, take in millions of devotees with him through every town and village, dancing enthusiastically. Countless followers ran after Nimai, all of them ecstatically dancing and singing in the name of Hari. Brahma, Shiva, Ananta, Shesh. Everyone chanted, Jai Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana. The entire universe thrilled to the sound. I alone stood silent, seized with fear. From all sides, there was nothing but chanting praises of Nimai, the glories of Vishvambara, the son of Sachi, as our son led the way to the graceful dance to Jagannath Puri Nilachala, the Lord's kingdom of Dwarka. So, this dream, he felt anxiety by this dream. He said, I fear that it's a prophecy that Nimai is going to follow in the footsteps of his brother and that he's going to leave us forever. And Mother Sachi said, oh no, it's just a dream. Don't worry, Nimai will always stay home. I know he just loves his books. Why would he ever want to leave us? So now, after this dream, and they had many discussions on this subject, then the best of Mishras withdrew his eternal and pure form from the view of the people of this world. So Gora wept, deeply lamenting his father's departure, as he had in his former role as Sri Ramachandra when King Dasarath disappeared. So Mother Sachi's life was preserved only through Nimai. She directed her every action and thought to caring for her son, but to speak at length on a matter of great sorrow only increases its pain, and devotees ever prefer not to dwell on the disappearance of the Lord's beloved associates. And we know now our associates are leaving very rapidly in this, as we all will be. All right, so now, sure enough, later on, and then what happened was, this is like kind of very unbelievable how after Jagannath Mishra left, now he's not being very well behaved. Like one time, he would come home from school, and before going, he would often stop just to get oil, and also he would get items of worship, some incense and sandalwood paste, and then he would bring them also and do worship at the Ganges. So he asked his mother, can you bring me the flower garlands? And she said, okay, in a few minutes. And he yelled. This is like bad example for our children, but we should never behave like this. And he said, a few minutes, why are there no garlands here now? And then he stormed into his room, and he was like Lord Shiva at the dance of destruction. He vented his exalted wrath on the earthen pots. So there was Ganges water stored in the earthen pots in the house, and he took a big stick and started deliberately breaking the pots. So now, this is not a very big house, so the water starts running, and then there were pots, all the pots in the kitchen where they stored oil and ghee, and he broke those, so they started mixing with the water like a river across the floor. And then there is all of the grains, the rice, and all the spices, and then he broke every pot in the house, and then he took pieces of clothing and ripped them to shreds, like the monkeys sometimes do in Vrindavan. Then he pounded the door, the walls, the floor, the roof, everything in shambles. And the Lord looked magnificent And then he started striking the earth even. And it said, Mother Earth received his mercy. The Lord looked magnificent. His blackish hair lay in wet curls on his forehead. His glowing eyes were red-rimmed and seemed to see nothing but the lack of garlands for his worship of Mother Ganges. His dhoti hung loosely from his waist, and his beautiful golden limbs were wet with perspiration. He appeared to be dancing, and every swing of his stick flowed in effortless motion that ended in the thunder of a powerful blow. His youthful form flashed like lightning in the storm of his own fury. Now, what would any mother do? But Mother Sachi didn't do that. She just stood there in the doorway like stunned. She was hiding, afraid of his stick. He was hitting everything, and he was so furious. So she just was kind of hiding and observing what she could. But then when she no longer heard any crashing blows of the stick, she saw that he was in the yard, and then after he smashed everything, he was rolling around angrily on the bare ground, and Mother Sachi could not take her eyes away. He looked so beautiful, his golden form coated with sparkling sand, glistening in the sun. So now he was lying there, and all his anger had vanished, and so he was lying there sleeping, and he said the demigods laughed and wept at this sight. And so Mother Sachi got the garlands and the other articles for worship, and she went and gently wiped the sand from his back, and she gently woke him up. Wake up, my darling. Can you imagine being a mother being like that? Wake up, my darling. Here are your garlands. Please take these things. I do not mind that you have broken everything in the house, but I just want you to know we don't have anything else. These are all for you. This is, all of the articles and the food. It's all for you. And now you've destroyed everything. Now you have nothing. And so she went and cleaned everything up without even a hint of complaint or resentment. And she prayed, may I always please Nimai with my service. I will serve him in any way, but, what I can't bear is the thought of separation from him. And so, but then, how Nimai went out, and somehow he came back with like gold coins and wearing very expensive jewelry and everything. She's like, where did you get this? And I said, don't worry. And she thought he must have stolen it. So she had it checked and all, and nobody was missing anything. So sure enough, we saw a little bit in the play on Sunday when Nimai announced to Lord Nityananda that indeed he would take sannyas. So this was like, because Nimai is the life and soul of all of his devotees. And he didn't tell, he only told 5 people that he was going to take sannyas. Again, just like Vishvarup, but every one of them tried to discourage him, and Lord Nityananda just wept and wept after he heard this, because he said, look your father passed away, and now your wife, she's 14 years old, and you're going to leave your wife and your mother. She has nobody, her husband died, and you're the only shelter of, your mother and your young wife, how can you leave like that? And he said, I have to, because this is why I've come. I've come to bring the medicine. Like there's this medicine, Pipolayana, that when you have bronchial pneumonia and bronchitis, this medicine cures it. It's very hot. I have some. It tastes like, it's like black pepper. And so I brought this medicine, just an analogy. But instead I have created, because of the students, how he was teaching. Indeed, he did become a teacher, and how he was one time just started chanting, Gopi, Gopi, Gopi. And his students, and one of them said, why are you chanting Gopi, Gopi? You should be chanting Hare Krishna. And because he was so absorbed in remembrance of the gopis and the mood. And he's like, what? They started, correcting him when not at all understanding his internal mood. And so he got angry, and he took up a stick, and all the students, this one student in particular, he started running, and Nimai's running after him in the street. And then the other devotees, not the first time, they have to go and tackle Nimai, say, no, stop, you can't, don't do that, can't get angry. And then the boy went and told his friends, you're not going to believe what Professor Nimai did. He started chasing me with a stick because he was chanting Gopi, Gopi, and he was going to beat me. And they said, wow, who does he think he is? Just because he's a Brahmin, we also are Brahmins. How can he dare think of hitting a Brahmin? And they said, we should beat him. So when Nimai heard this, he said, see, I brought the medicine, but instead I've created like a noose around their neck, because if they beat me, that's going to be quite a big offense on their part. So now I have to take sannyas, because in India, everyone, especially that time, everyone respects a sannyasi, even a bogus sannyasi, right? They respect a sannyasi. He said, I'll go begging door to door, and I'll knock on their doors, and they will bow down to me, and that they will offer respect. So I have to do it, because this is why I've come here, to deliver the whole world. And so, his other friends were like, yeah, this isn't good that you're going. Like every day we have kirtan, and every day you could just stay here with your associates, and we are spreading the Sankirtan movement, and there's no need to take sannyas. And then, he didn't tell Vishnu Priya that he was going to do it, and he didn't tell Mother Sachi, but somehow news spread, rumors spread. And so at night, after the devotees used to come and visit him at nighttime, and he would tell them, to chant the holy name and to serve the devotees, right? They say Nama, and also Vaishnav Seva and Jiva Doya, right? Be merciful to the jivas. And so he knew, I'm leaving in the morning. This is my last night. Devotees coming, and they would bring him garlands, and he would give them to others. And so then in the morning, when he's at nighttime, so he goes to bed, and then Vishnu Priya, she's massaging his feet, and as he's taking rest and his leg, and he feels hot tears on his legs, and he's like, what's the matter? Why are you crying? What's the matter? He's and she's just sobbing. She said, I heard that you're taking sannyas. Then he kind of lied at first, like, no, who told you that? I wouldn't take sannyas. And she said, I know it's because of me you have to take sannyas. Well, I'll just take poison and I'll die so you don't have to take sannyas, and I'm just like a pile of ashes. And he's like, no, no. And then he pacified her. He wiped her tears with his chadar, and then he said, just rest. And then again, she's crying. She said, I know you're lying, that you are going to take sannyas. And then he tells her, yeah, this is the sacrifice that we take. Both of us have come. You have also come to assist in the deliverance of the fallen souls. And so this is the sacrifice that we make. And so he convinced her, and then while we've seen the pictures, while she's fast asleep, he goes to sneak out of the house. But who's sitting in the doorway? Mother Sachi. She had stayed up all night because she heard, because rumors spread, and she's just sitting there. And when Prabhupada tells this story, you may have heard it on a tape. Well, we used to have tapes. Prabhupada tells, and Prabhupada's crying, actually crying, when he tells how pathetic, how Mother Sachi, how painful this was for her. And she's like, I know you're going to do it because he's independent. He does whatever he wants to do, right? We say, and write word for word, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the fully independent personality of Godhead who makes everyone dance as he likes, just as a wooden doll dances to the will of a puppeteer. Everything is accomplished by the will of the Lord. Who can understand the characteristics of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? So she tells him, I know you're going. And then he tells her, she's just crying and sitting there all night. He said, you've been my mother so many times. So many times you've been my mother. And so this is something that I have to do and try to pacify her. And it's very sad. But anyway, then all the devotees come to see him in the morning. And Sachi Devi's like, he's not here. So anything he has, it's yours. You can have any of his possessions. And we know how Vishnu Priya, like the both of them, Sachi Mata and Vishnu Priya. Of course, we hear so much, like yesterday in Krishna Priya's thread, Rangadevi, a lot of devotees talking about separation and how can Krishna be so cruel like this. But we also hear it's the highest is Vipulamba, separation, that it makes the heart so much more attached to the Lord in separation, just as Krishna left Vrindavan and perpetually the devotees are crying and all. And so we're just waiting for the curtains to open. They're not waiting for me, right? Yeah, so anyway, so then, then Mahaprabhu goes to bathe in the Ganges one more time, and then finally goes to Gaya for the to have his head. He has his head shaved, Katwa, right? He goes to Katwa, and Madhava, the barber, it took all day to shave his head because he was in so much ecstasy, and all this big crowd comes around. Who is this personality? He's so young, and because we know when he went to Keshava, what? He said, "You're only 24 years old." you shouldn't take sannyas. Go home. Does your wife know that you're doing this? And you should come back. You're like so handsome and like, why would you take sannyas now? Come back when you're 50 years old or something, not now. And he said, no, I have to. They know. My mother and my wife know I'm going to do it. And he just so much convinced him. And he said, I don't think I can give you sannyas because you are like, this is Keshava Bharati, right? You are like so exalted. So Nimai, he does a little trick. Well, Vishvambar, he goes, listen, I had a dream that I got the mantra. I want you to tell me, is this the proper sannyas mantra? He goes, let me hear. So he whispers into Keshava Bharati's ear the sannyas mantra. So in essence, Mahaprabhu gave him initiation because he gave him the mantra. But then he then he said, all right, well, go ahead, you have to go shave your head. And, this is one of his most beautifying features, his beautiful, beautiful locks of black, curling, shining hair. And Mahaprabhu kept dancing. So all for us, he did this. He has appeared internal reasons and external reasons to taste the love of Srimati Radharani and also to deliver. All glories to Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Wow, did you get Maha? Is that Boga or Prashad?
What's the text you were reading from?
I'm just reading from Varshana Swami's Gaur Leela.
Who's?
Varshana Swami. It's mostly Chaitanya Bhagavat. He just combined it together. Everything.
Beautifully expressed.
Oh God, it's so beautiful.